Welcome to the Diva T-Town. Welcome to the Diva T-Town, where bold, confident women embrace life unapologetically. From love and sex to wellness and reinvention, we keep it raw, real, and powerful. No filters, no limits. Just fearless conversations to help you thrive. Let's dive in with Diva Mia and Diva Cat.
Welcome, everybody. This is Diva Mia. Today, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about certain dates, anniversaries, birthdays, divorce dates, etc., because they tend to carry a heavy emotional weight. Even when you don't think they do, they still impact you. This came up this week because this is the 2-year anniversary of my divorce. I kind of just did a reality check of where I came from and how I feel now, and I'm feeling actually really good. I was looking back and remembering how broken I was 2 years ago and how much I've grown and come into my own in the last 2 years. I think that sometimes anniversaries and birthdays and divorce dates, they have such a strong impact, but they really are just a date and time. We attach a lot of meaning to certain dates, but do they really have that much meaning? I think the difference is that we're marking time with dread sometimes, we're marking time with gratitude when it's like a birthday, but it's a date. Society sometimes reminds us of, oh, it's been a couple years, should you be sad? Divorce dates should have been wedding anniversaries. I know it would have been 30 years with my ex this month. It was just interesting that the days came and passed and they didn't have that heavy of a weight on me anymore. Instead of reframing, I guess, in pain, I looked at these dates as I survived, I grew, and I got stronger. I think that's a good way for you to look at things. I believe that if you can look at dates as memories of the past and lessons to be remembered, it changes your whole perspective on things. You know, those dates sometimes can feel strong. I think I'm stronger now because of it. I've healed, I've grown, and I've gotten stronger. You can too. That's the reality. You can have your own self-talk around those dates. When you get divorced, you have the opportunity to completely rediscover your life, rediscover your worth, rediscover your health, reclaim your identity. It's an amazing time to go through. Yes, divorce is the death of part of your life or part of a chapter, but you get a brand new chapter. When you're an empty nester, a lot of people get sad and depressed. Some people get happy. It depends on your perspective. You get to shift focus from children to focusing on yourself. You got to spend some great times together and cherish those memories. And sometimes people break up and then they have breakup anniversaries and anniversaries of the time they met. But you know what? Look back and look at what worked in the relationship, what didn't, and build stronger boundaries for next time to make a better relationship. Everything in life is a lesson. We should all remember the good times, no matter what the change is in our life, no matter what the anniversary dates are. Remember the good times and have gratitude for that. You've got to accept the bad times. They happen, but everybody goes through good and bad times, and there will be hurt, and there may be bitterness depending on how you were treated. But nonetheless, you are where you are now, and it's time to stop looking back. It's time to start looking forward. Take the lessons, carry that wisdom forward, and improve yourself, evolve, elevate. It's an amazing time to be alive. There's so much opportunity, so much possibility in the world. Grab a hold of it, rein it in, and go for things in life. Don't hold yourself back anymore. It's time to step into that next chapter. You got to focus on all the possibilities. Yes, you've had loss. Yes, you've had hard times, but so have other people. It's time to move on to your next chapter. I know I've mentioned it dozens of times about journaling, but journaling on special dates can help you reconnect with who you are and how you've grown. You can talk to it about how you've changed over the last year since the last time you thought about it. You know, you get to celebrate some of your milestones. You know, you can treat your divorce anniversary, change it from divorce maybe to your rebirth anniversary, a day that you were reborn into your new purpose, into your new self, or a rediscovery day, a day that you rediscovered who you were. It doesn't have to have a negative connotation. You should celebrate milestones as much as possible. You know, you can have rituals of remembrance like light a candle and blow it out and say that part's done. But I don't like to dwell too much on the past. Sometimes you can take a trip or do something life-giving. Nonetheless, you get to remember it how you want to, but don't dwell too much on the past. Shift your focus instead of looking back, looking for your new chapter. Maybe make it a goal-setting day and say, you know what? I'm going to have 2 different goal-setting days, first of the year, and see where I'm at. And it's just a refresh date. Surround yourself with growth-minded people, and you're going to find that the growth-minded people will encourage you to heal and to grow into your new self. You know, life is a series of seasons. There's going to be times when you're happy. There's going to be times when you're sad. Change is inevitable. It's always happening. You can't resist the change, because if you resist the change, you have regret of not moving forward. So resisting only brings you pain. Embracing change will bring you growth. Sometimes growth is good, sometimes it's not, but we always learn from it. I encourage you to have a special date in honor of how far you've come. It doesn't have to be a date that was from the past. Make a new date and just remember how far you've come. I think life is not about holding on to what was. I think it's about how we move forward. But you got to be grateful. You got to have gratitude for what it is and hope for what will be or what you can make in the future, because we make our own lives. Everything that you have in your life, you've attracted in. If your life is not the way you want it to be, then go change it. But you have to make that choice. You have to make that decision. You have to grow. I've noticed in many situations that instead of people going inward after a divorce and really reflecting on who they are and what they want to become, they distract themselves. They overwork, or they throw themselves into projects, or they throw themselves into jobs working for other people or charity or things that don't reflect on what they need, because they do that so they can avoid the internal pain. And I get it. Distractions are fun. Distractions help you avoid the pain. I think everybody does them to some extent. Sometimes people are upset because their children left, and so they distract themselves with a new hobby. The reality is the distraction is just letting you avoid going internal. And you need to go internal to find out who you truly are. So if there's ever a process, I do recommend anyone, even if you're just going through an empty nesting syndrome, I recommend that you go to therapy. Maybe you get a coach. Maybe you go and you do some type of spiritual retreat, but do something, travel, go somewhere. You can do this. You can grow. You can weave your personal story into a new story. You know, you can anchor your emotions. You don't have to anchor it in the past. You can anchor it from now into the future. And the more you expand into life and the broader you accept life's transitions, the more you will grow into your future. I hope this helped today. I hope this helped with changing seasons, changing dates. I hope that you realize that those dates aren't your doom. Those dates are your growth dates. This is Diva Mia. I hope you have a wonderful day. Signing off. Take care.
Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, and drop a comment. We'd love hearing from you. Visit thedivadetails.com to connect. See you next week for more.
Diva Details podcast and website are intended solely for informational and entertainment purposes. The content provided does not constitute professional, medical, financial, or legal advice. We are not licensed medical practitioners, financial advisors, or legal professionals. Always consult with a qualified healthcare provider for medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Any financial topics discussed are based on personal opinions and experience and should not be considered professional advice. The content provided does not constitute legal advice. The Diva Details and its affiliate contributors and guests are not liable for any losses or damages arising from the use of our content. The opinions expressed in the podcast are solely those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views of any affiliated organization, sponsors, or partner. All facts discussed in the podcast are researched and accurate to the best of our knowledge at the time of recording. Information may change over time. No guarantees are made regarding the accuracy, completeness, or reliability of any statements or opinions presented. It is the responsibility of the listener to verify any and all facts that may influence their decision. This podcast is for information and entertainment purposes only and should not be considered professional advice.